Look, and it's crazy. All my YNs, watch this. Stay tuned. Watch this, bro. So, this situation right here. This little bitch, bro, up here cheating on her nigga, right? Of course, with some other dude. Her dude find out. Instead of him being a real man and leaving her little ugly ass, he tell her, oh yeah, you like this nigga, you fuck this nigga? All right, set him up so I can kill him. She said, okay. This made national news, bro. But that's only the 2-minute clip. Law and Crime got 24 minutes of this shit that we about to watch.
When Jarrell Pryor agreed to meet a woman he connected with online, he thought it was just a first date. He had no idea it would be his last night alive. Jarrell was a proud father, a girl dad. Now that little girl has to face a world without him. No more bedtime stories, no father-daughter dances, and one day, no dad waiting at the end of the aisle to walk her into a new chapter of life. What started as a simple night out allegedly ended in a deadly setup. Indianapolis police say Jarrell was ambushed, allegedly lured into a trap by the very woman he'd hoped to get to know. She reportedly was not alone. Detectives believe she was working with her boyfriend. An alleged plan to rob Jarrell turned violent and ended in murder. I'm Kennedy Walker, and I'll walk you through the chilling final moments of Jarrell Pryor's life and the twisted betrayal that left a...
So what happened, just like all of us as a young nigga, bro. You meet a female online, she cute, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got you no girl, she want to link, okay, let's link. We talking for a couple days. After that couple days, we decide to link. We not thinking, that's why I say I want y'all niggas to watch this shit. We not thinking we finna get killed over some pussy, bro. I'm about to go fuck this bitch, you know what I'm saying? You put on your fit, nigga, you hop in the shower, you put your cologne on in the car, nigga, playing your music, smoking your weed on the way. You not thinking you finna get smoked or you wouldn't go, you know what I'm saying? But this shit can happen, squad. That's why I say life is so fucked up. This shit can happen, bro. It can happen.
A community searching for justice. For this story, we take you to Indianapolis, Indiana, January 2025. According to court documents obtained by Law and Crime, Jarrell Pryor's murder began with a text and ended with an alleged deadly setup. Just hours before he was killed, police say Jarrell messaged a young woman he'd met online, 19-year-old Alexis Hawkins. The message
27.
was just 3 words: when you free. The affidavit says Hawkins responded. She told him when she was available and agreed to go on a date. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Wow.
This not the story. That's not how it happened, bro. That's not how it happened. So before that, when you free text message, they had linked up on Instagram, right? When they linked up on Instagram, he said, I barely be on here. I be on Snapchat. So they start talking on Snapchat for a while. That when you free message came that day. That wasn't, he didn't just DM the bitch and just out the blue. When you free, she said, oh, let's link here. And he just went like a dummy. No, they been talking. They didn't say the whole thing, squad. They made this seem like that nigga was thirsty. Like, damn.
He met online, 19-year-old Alexis Hawkins. The message was just 3 words: when you free. The affidavit says Hawkins responded. She told him when she was available and agreed to go on a date. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. While she was allegedly texting Jarrell, Hawkins was reportedly messaging someone else on Instagram, her boyfriend, 18-year-old Brian Winston Jr. Investigators say Hawkins was working out the details of her date with Pryor while secretly coordinating with Winston behind the scenes. Jarrell had no idea, no clue that Hawkins was in a relationship or that anything could go wrong. It was just a date, and maybe, if things went well, a chance to meet up again. But police say it was never about the date, it was a trap. That night, Jarrell met Hawkins in person. They sat together in his car, and shortly before 1 a.m., Hawkins' boyfriend allegedly appeared and opened fire. Jarrell Pryor, just 26 years old, was shot and killed. A young father now gone. His daughter just...
Let me tell you how dingy this bitch is. Let me tell you how old boy didn't even care about his bitch and how dingy she is. He smoked the nigga while she was still in the car. That bitch could have got hit, squad. He smoked the nigga while she was still in the car.
Just 2 years old, left behind. As police began their investigation, they discovered the messages between Pryor and Hawkins. They then obtained a warrant to search Hawkins' Instagram account, and what they allegedly found raised even more red flags. Investigators say she searched phrases like news today near me, and shootings Keystone, all on the day of the murder. Police also discovered that Hawkins had allegedly messaged several people asking for a ride near the location of the shooting around the time Jarrell was killed. When detectives questioned Hawkins the following week, she allegedly claimed she couldn't remember much about that night. She reportedly insisted she didn't have a weapon and told police, "No weapon to say I did anything. My fingerprints aren't on anything." When asked if her fingerprints might be found inside of Jarrell's car, Hawkins reportedly replied, "It's not going to be on no weapon though." But the moment investigators asked about...
Yeah, take this little bitch to jail. She thinks she know it. She thinks she got it. I promise y'all. Yeah, I was in this car. That don't mean nothing. Ain't no weapon, though. Y'all can't say I did it. I keep telling y'all about these outside ass bitches, bro. If she on Instagram posting, what? This one thing I don't get, bitch. If you not famous, what are you posting every day for? Y'all tell me. Your family and your friends know who you is. You want to go to the club, you want to look like Rihanna, you want to have all them outside bitches, bro. I don't know if y'all know what debt to ratio income is, right? I don't care if a bitch is working at McDonald's and she save up her money to buy a Louis bag, and she actually buy the Louis bag with her hard-earned money, she can't afford it. She can't afford it. So if you work at Walmart and you got Louis on, I'm unattracted. Your morals is fucked up. You can't afford it. Outside bitches, bro, trying to keep up with trends. Louis bags is for motherfuckers that make 100,000 plus a year, 150,000 plus a year. I'm being real with y'all niggas, bro. You can't afford it if you only making $2,500 a month, $3,500 a month. And the Louis bag costs $5,500. You can't afford it. Them outside bitches, y'all better stay away from. I'm telling y'all niggas, man. I'm telling y'all niggas, bro. Them bitches, they just looking for come-ups. That's it. That's it.
Out a message she sent saying she was going to make a, quote, play, Hawkins allegedly stopped talking and asked for a lawyer. She was arrested shortly after and charged with murder and robbery resulting in serious bodily injury. Winston was charged as well with murder, felony murder, and robbery. Now, Jarrell's family is left to pick up the pieces. His parents, once looking forward to watching their son become the man and father he aspired to be, are now raising the little girl he left behind. His mother, Tamika Wiley, told WXIN, "I'm broken inside." And just weeks ago, Jarrell's parents celebrated their granddaughter's 3rd birthday, a milestone that should have been filled with joy, laughter, and her father's love. Instead, it was a day marked by absence. No Jarrell, no hugs from dad, just a little girl too young to understand why her dad never came home. Justice may come in a courtroom, but for this family, the real sentence is living without Jarrell.
And to you gullible females out there that's watching this, don't be that fucking stupid to where a nigga can make you set up another nigga to get him killed. You going to prison for life too, bitch. Dick that good? Cause I promise you, can't no female get a nigga to set up a female and kill her. It's not happening. Y'all love us too much. Something wrong with you motherfuckers. The fuck you gonna let another nigga get you to set up some other nigga? For 19 years old. Probably be around 45 when you get out. You deserve it. That first night, we were just talking about that last video, right? That's her. That first night. Didn't get nothing up out this shit, bro. But somebody killed. And that's her in jail on that first night, bro. Wet pillows. Bitch stupid.
And joining me to talk more about this is legal expert Andy Baldwin. Andy, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's just jump right in. How does a case like this typically move through the Indiana legal system once charges are filed?
Well, the first thing that's going to happen is these two defendants are going to have to get lawyers. And so there's going to be an initial hearing very quickly, and the judge is going to find out what are you guys doing about lawyers. And then the real work begins. And because in a case like this, I think you really need to get some quick action with your lawyers and figuring out what you're going to do. And a lot of times in my world, you have some time to kind of dig into the facts, dig into the evidence, and see exactly what the state has. But in a case like this, when you have two people that are co-defendants, you may need to go to the prosecutor to get that deal first if you are in fact guilty.
You see a bitch take a picture like this on Instagram, leave her alone. Don't DM her. I don't care how thick she look. I don't care how good she look. Leave her alone, bro. It be these bitches. We done all seen this exact pose a million times on Instagram, bro. We done seen this exact fucking pose from the baddest bitches. Keep scrolling, nigga. Keep scrolling, nigga. That's marquee right fucking there, you ghetto, thirsty, set 'em up ass bitch. You conniving, young, dumb, full of cum ass bitch. Keep scrolling, my nigga. Learn the hard way, bro.
And what are the first steps that prosecutors take after an arrest in a homicide case? What do you think they're doing?
Oh, Miss Longtooth got that shit fixed, nigga. It wasn't me, because I was just playing. You know, I can't clown my shit. I got spaces and shit. I was just playing about when I was like Miss Longtooth.
Well, you know, prosecutors want
arrest in a homicide.
That motherfucker ain't long no more. They even. They the same. They identical. They twins. But now we know you got a fake too, so it's cool though. It's cool. Y'all remember? Y'all remember Miss Long?
Case. What do you think they're doing right now?
It's good though.
Oh, you know, prosecutors, once the charge is filed, they really just depend on their detectives and their investigators to take the lead role in terms of gathering evidence. And they'll be communicating, the prosecutor will be communicating.
That's the other post. I said post. That's the other pose. The cross legs, hand on the, with the head tilt. With them legs crossed, that hand on the tip, with the head tilt, with the, yeah. That bitch can see she don't need them glasses, but she think glasses make her look cute, a little kinky, you know what I'm saying? Watch them hoes. Watch them hoes. 24K said, she so damn fine. Bro, you gonna end up in the morgue. Chill. Your ass gonna end up in the morgue. Chill. She probably a fan, goes. If she is, then she know I was just playing about her too. I can't clown. Y'all talk about me all the time. She can too. Shit. She can too. But watch her, bro. She's a problem.
With the detectives.
She get niggas killed.
And saying, hey, maybe I want you to go get a geo tracking off of one of the cell phones to make sure where they are, things like that. But these are, one of the detectives on this case is pretty well known throughout Indianapolis as a very good homicide detective, and he's probably doing a good job on his own of figuring out what needs to be done.
And can you walk us through just how police build a case using digital communications like texts and DMs via social media? Because I know that was crucial in this case, according to court documents.
Yeah, it's usually bad news for defense lawyers nowadays, because it's the phone that you carry around contains geo tracking information. So if they want to know where you were at certain times, they can locate that. So that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Texting is a real problem because it gives a context of what might have been going on. So in this case, I can tell you what the detectives very quickly sent letters to Google and to Meta saying, preserve the evidence. We need the evidence preserved. But on top of that, while they're preserving that evidence, they're getting search warrants for the phone. So Alexis, who's one of the defendants, they have her phone. Brian.
That's what I'm saying. Our daddies, our grandpas, they didn't have to worry about this shit when they was doing crime back in the day. For instance, nigga, we just had a house phone. They just had a house phone. You know what I'm saying? That's it. How the fuck they gonna track us once we leave the house? My nigga, you are tracked when you leave the house. Think about that shit. And there's nothing you can do about it because we not leaving our home. We not leaving our fucking phone at the house, right? We not. So guess what? We getting tracked. And this what y'all need to understand, bro. You turn your location off all you want to. Turn it off all you want to. This what y'all need to understand, right? Or this what I want to show y'all, because a lot of y'all don't get this. Turn your location off right now. Do it. And then do Find My iPhone. It still can show you where your iPhone at, bro. With that being said, you can turn your location off. You can turn your power off. My nigga, they're still tracking you. There's nothing you could do about it except leave that bitch at home or throw it in the desert, my nigga. Straight up. They didn't have to worry about this shit back in the day. It's not. This is another thing. This is another thing that y'all know. A lot of y'all don't know. All right? It ain't when they see your location, okay, you was at home and you say you wasn't at 1234 Sesame Street and it say you was. We ain't talking about that basic ass location, bro. Y'all know when you hit up maps and you want to go to IHOP and they show you the route, which way to go, make a left here and a right here. When they subpoena your shit, they see your shit on maps. Every left and right turn you took for whatever days, months they want to look at, bro. Not just when you get to your destination, my nigga. You hit a cut in the alley, you went down the back street, my nigga. You went another side street, then you finally got on the boulevard, then you parked, you stopped at your side bitch house, then you went to the weed man house real quick, then you went, all that shit, nigga. All of it, bro. Androids too. It's your tracking device.
Winston, the other defendant, he tried to break his phone according to the probable cause affidavit at least. And whether he was successful or not, we don't know yet. But they're going to get search warrant for those phones so they do everything right. And then they're going to start going and digging through the Instagram and Snapchat and all the other things, direct messages from Facebook, and see if they can tell the story. If the investigation can point toward one or both of them more definitively than currently.
Now, both suspects, they were charged with murder, and I think Brian was the one that was charged with felony murder. What's the legal difference between murder and felony murder under Indiana law?
Yeah, so actually it looks like it's Alexis that's charged with the felony.
And this bitch thinks she's Sue Whooping. She thinks she's a Damalu squad. I know my people. She too turned up. She too outside. Look at the way she dressed. Look like the way she act. For her to say okay. That's what this mean to the rest of the world. If you gang banging, it's a blood sign. This bitch think y'all watch these hoes, squad. Please. She ain't never throwing up no sign of saying okay in the fucking picture, bro. She thinks she her. She ain't never got put on. If anything, she got fucked on. And I don't even believe that part. Bitch, it's crazy.
Murder. It looks like what they're trying to say is that Alexis was in a car with the deceased, Jarrell Pryor. And I think from reading that, it's a 12-page probable cause affidavit. And what they're kind of saying is, Alexis took Jarrell on a date, or he took her on a date, but she was cluing Mr. Winston, her actual boyfriend, in on where they were going to be and so forth, and that Mr. Winston then at some point in time came in knowing where they were and shot and killed Mr. Pryor. And so Alexis is charged with felony murder, And felony murder is, hey, I did not actually do the shooting, but I knew what was going on, and there was going to be a robbery. And I was a participant in the robbery, which is a felony. And when somebody gets killed during the commission of a felony, then you can be charged with felony murder, even though you had nothing to do with the shooting.
Could this be considered even a conspiracy to commit murder, even if only one person fired the gun?
It definitely could be. And I think they may have to.
They gonna get washed for the simple fact this is premeditated murder. They planned this shit. They got days. So what's gonna happen is, ever since they first met, the prosecutor gonna try to say she marked them from that first text message, right? This is premeditated murder all the way to the. She's gonna get 15 to life for sure. She gonna get 15 to life because the murder could not have happened without her. You know what I'm saying? He was the gunman, just like if I was to hire somebody to kill somebody, I'd get more time than the gunman. You know what I'm saying? Because I hired him to do it. In this case, she gonna get the equivalent time to a boy, if not a little bit less time. You know what I'm saying? But she doing football numbers for sure.
Men, they're charging information later on. But conspiracy means you actually have to prove the murder. A felony murder is such a problem for defense lawyers, because a lot of times what happens is nobody was intending to be killed.
Yeah,
the two participants, Alexis and Brian, the two defendants, were actually just trying to rob the person, then in reality, they weren't committing murder. They were just committing robbery. And that's why the felony murder matters. A conspiracy to commit murder would mean that you would have to show that they actually intended to kill this young man.
Yeah, I know we just talked about the charges could be upgraded to that, but is there any way that anyone could take some type of plea or even go into manslaughter, or is that just not possible?
No manslaughter.
As strong as this one.
No, anything's possible. And I don't know how strong the case is at this point. I mean, I've read through the probable cause affidavit, and thinking like a defense lawyer does, I see that both of them have arguments that they can make. And that's why I think whoever gets to the prosecutor first, may get the better plea offer. However, you have to start with the presumption of innocence. Of course, I'm a defense lawyer, so this is what I do. And I start with the presumption of innocence. And I would be asking, if I had either Alexis or Brian, I'd be asking them maybe sooner rather than I normally would in a case, hey, it's time to kind of tell me what might have happened. Because if you have any involvement at all, I need to go to the prosecutor and cut this deal before the other side gets to the prosecutor. So, yeah, a plea agreement could be on the table for sure.
And can you walk us through just what that looks like, since, you do have a lot of experience with that? What could both sides be arguing when they go to the prosecution when they're trying to get a deal?
Yeah, the way I would argue it is that we'll take Alexis, for example. Alexis, when you read the probable cause affidavit, she denies having any involvement in the shooting.
The only way she'd be able to get off is if she say, I went on a date with him, I tried to move on with him, my boyfriend is crazy, he followed us there and he killed him. That's the only way she gonna get off. Other than that, I do not see her getting off at all, bro. Because she got the text message, she know the nigga, she knew where he was gonna be at because they obviously linked it, go to a specific location. Like all that, bitch. If you didn't say that you didn't know your boyfriend was gonna do that shit, then, I mean, that's the only way she can get off. That's the only way she can get off.
At least on the probable cause affidavit paperwork, she does admit that she was there when the shooting happened, and that she was scared and that she ran away. And so it could be that she points the finger at Brian Winston, her boyfriend, and says he's a jealous guy. He showed up, and I had no idea what was going to happen, and he shot and killed this guy because he's a jealous guy. We were.
He said
we're at Brian Winston, her boyfriend, and said he's a jealous guy. He showed up, and I had no idea what was going to happen, and he shot and killed this guy because he's a jealous guy. We were.
I do this, squad. I do this. Squad. Let me turn this light on real quick. I told y'all niggas, that's the only way she getting off. That nigga said, and I don't pre-watch no video. We was wrong on the last one, but yeah, we was trying to, yeah. But yeah, that's the only way she getting off, bro. That's it.
And I had no idea what was going to happen, and he shot and killed this guy because he's a jealous guy. Brian and I, my boyfriend, we were fighting earlier in the day, so I went out with a different guy and my jealous boyfriend. And so when you go to the prosecutor, you say, this is what my client's going to say if we go to trial. And, you know, she's willing to come forward and incriminate Mr. Winston, but she wants, you know, you start with swinging for the fences. She wants all charges dismissed. Now, Mr. Winston, on the other hand, you know, reading through the probable cause affidavit, I don't see that there's not a whole lot of evidence, direct evidence that links him to the crime. So if I were him, I'd be saying, I'd say, I have no idea what happened here. Alexis, my girlfriend, she leads kind of a wild life. I mean, when you read the probable cause affidavit, Kennedy,
they gonna tell each other.
You see that Alexis's mom kicked her out of the house because Alexis was hanging out with pimps, and that's her own words, the mom's words, and other kind of ne'er-do-wells. And so if I'm Brian Winston's attorney, I'm saying, you know, he has nothing to do with this. And Alexis is hanging out with these kind of, you know, this wild crowd, and anybody could have killed her. And so, you know, I don't really know what you want me, my involvement is nothing. So there's nothing I can do. Now, I don't know that Brian's going to be able to.
Until they run across that text message that say, hey, we right here. They can't say that, bro. We just talked about the GPS. That nigga cannot argue, well, she live a wild life. I wasn't there and whoopty whoop whoop. Bro, if you had your phone on you, all three of y'all was in the same spot at the same night, you was there, my nigga. Everything this fool talk about thrown out the window, what's that phone evidence coming to play? Because the bitch hit him with the location. So in order for you to hit somebody with a location, they gotta have a phone on them. Right? Right. So after she hit him with the location, he showed up with his phone on him and murdered him. Everything you saying, out the window, my boy. That nigga's gonna be tracked to that location at that specific hour, minute, and second. The same way the victim is at that hour, minute, and second. This nigga, that's out the window, bro.
Say ever, like, I knew what happened with Alexis, because then it would implicate himself, unless he's going to say that Alexis told me what happened. But when Kennedy, when you read the probable cause affidavit, you're going to see that at this, whatever happened happened about 1 in the morning, roughly. Mm-hmm. And about 5:30, a few hours later, when Alexis and Brian, her boyfriend, are communicating on by text, and they're saying, "I love you, I'm sorry." But they don't talk anything about shooting or a shooting or a killing or anything like that. So it just seems like a boyfriend and a girlfriend that were in a fight. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this case where a defense lawyer can make some hay.
Yeah, just so many moving parts. But do you think, and this is all speculation at this point, obviously, but do you think that Alexis would truly have an argument like the one you suggested, given the fact that they have her, you know, alleged Instagram messages where she's planning everything with the boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a little unclear, honestly, when you read it. You can interpret things the way that you want. And by the way, I mean, just because she looks like she's wanting to rob somebody doesn't mean it was with
him.
In the probable cause affidavit, here it is. There, she does send like what I would say a really bad text out about hitting a lick, or the phrase "hitting a lick" is, you know, street slang for I'm going to rob somebody and take some of their stuff. And she talks about hitting a lick, and that's pretty bad. But it doesn't mean that it was with Brian Winston. I mean, if she's hanging out with lots of bad people, she could have been hitting a lick with anybody. And so there's another wrinkle on this case as well. And I don't see Brian and Alexis being boyfriend and girlfriend too much longer. I will tell you that much. I mean, I think somebody's going to have to turn on the other here shortly, and they'd probably be wise to do that unless they are absolutely.
To you niggas that want to go ahead and kill over a female, somebody going to be fucking her as soon as you get locked up, bro. Same scenario. Somebody still fucking your bitch. But now you never getting out. So you can get some new. And you get what I'm saying, bro? Ain't that serious, squad. Ain't that serious, bro. This video right here to you young niggas should just show y'all so much. Open your eyes a little bit if it didn't, bro. Shit. Get you a square. Damn, it says she uploaded an Instagram pic 10 months ago. That's crazy. It's a good thing, squad. It's a good thing. The bitches that's doing lists with their ass crossed over, all that shit, and want to be all on the end. How my duck lips look? The fuck? Doing all that shit, bro? That ain't. Leave them alone. Leave them alone, bro.
Absolutely not guilty. But there seems to be too much evidence to support that theory.
Right. I'd be surprised if they're still boyfriend and girlfriend, given the fact that they're both sitting in jail right now. I feel like that's pretty hard to maintain a relationship while that's going on. But
you would be surprised.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Anything is possible. Well, both suspects were charged with robbery resulting in serious bodily injury. Can you explain what that means in this context?
Curly boy, what's happening?
Yeah, it's not very complicated. It is kind of what it says that it is. When you are committing a robbery and you hit somebody with the butt of a gun or you shoot them, and Indiana has a definition for serious bodily injury. If they meet the definition, the person that's hit or shot meets that definition by their injuries, then you would be charged with a robbery causing serious bodily injury in the course of that robbery. And it's prosecutors are going to throw everything against the wall typically and see what sticks, because they don't.
My boy really died trying to get some pussy, man. Not just him though. Thousands of the other niggas that never made the news. Thousands of them, bro. This nigga took a shower, put on one of his best fits, his cologne, just to die in this shit.
Respond to a call about some
total chaos after girlfriend gets caught cheating. We got fucking content, my nigga. This the one I was looking for, squad. This the one we got content. We got fucking content, bro. This is what I was looking for.
Someone's roommate completely trashing their apartment. However, the story officers uncover leads to unexpected chaos.
What the hell?
What's his name? Derek.
How y'all know he did it?
Derek. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
What?
Go in there.
Derek, that's yeah.
What's going on? Bro, ain't nothing going on. I'm good. No, you're not good, man.
My nigga found out his bitch did some dick and he messed up the whole house, bro, through a tantrum. My nigga messed up a whole house, bro. I thought that was the female that got mad because she caught hurt. Yeah. My nigga messed up the whole house, squad. The bed is not, you know how mad you gotta be to lift the mattress off the box spring, my nigga? I ain't that mad. That's too much work, bro. Think about it. Who gets mad and moves the box? You gotta be that mad. I don't even want to fuck you on this bed no more. Facts, right? My nigga messed up the kitchen, the living room, and the bed. All this shows me is that he gonna get back with the bitch. Because if you catch your girl cheating, and you like, all right, fucking, I'm done with you, you ain't gonna say you done and then fuck up your shit. You not. But if you know you gonna take her back, this how your house gonna look, squad. I'm telling you.
I don't care about none of this, bro. What's going on? What are you talking to me, man? I'm not talking to you, bro. Why? I don't talk to police, bro. Why not?
You a square.
What do you mean, why not, bro? Have you been living in...
Have you not been living in this world? Look, check this out, bro. I can see if you committed a crime. I can see if you did something that was like felony worthy. Bro, your bitch cheated on you. You up here having all this animosity with him. He just want to know what's going on, bro. You mad at the world. He just trying to help you out in your little world, squad. He said, what do you mean what's going on? I don't talk to police. She didn't talk to your bitch either, so...
So, this world, bro, are you kidding me? Not? Are you kidding me? And he really called the police, like, just saying.
Stop.
Stop acting now.
You're not gonna walk through me.
Hang on.
Look at this my house, nigga.
What happened? Be sure me, what the hell happened?
I'm not gonna walk.
Hey, roommate.
You're damn right now I am.
Okay.
What's going on, bro?
I'm not talking to you, bro.
Okay. Do not go in that closet.
I'm good, bro.
You can stand here and talk to him then.
He little boy, that nigga. He ain't gonna tell me what to do in my damn house.
That stuff. Okay. Makes.
That's what I'm saying. Don't let the police do y'all like that. Don't go in that closet. Because I promise y'all, you can't go to jail for going in the closet. Nigga, go in the motherfucking closet if you want to, bro. Don't let the police little boy y'all niggas, man. They do that to feed their little ego, to try to let you know who's the boss. Not in my motherfucking house. Not at my house. Now, anywhere else, I probably listen. I ain't gonna lie. Don't go over there. Think you get shot. But in my house, I risk getting shot, bro. I got too much pride and too much moral to let anybody in this fucking world to make me or tell me to do anything in my fucking house, bro. Kill me. That's it. I'm fucked up.
Derek, is you slow?
Derek, hey, listen to me. You better calm down, bro.
What's going on? I'm calm. You better calm down.
I'm calm as
This nigga fake tough. I know a buster when I see one.
Bro, look at
This nigga fake tough.
I don't care.
But they got on the glitter shirt that say Raw.
In the league.
You
My
can-
girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, she was cheating. She with some other dude right now.
Okay.
She said she's at his house. She left her Apple Watch here. Okay. You can see the messages through her Apple Watch. Seeing all her messages, talking to all these other...
He's breaking down. He's breaking down. She with some other dude right now. That's why he did this shit right now, bro. That's why she did this shit right now, bro. To keep it real, you lucky you got a bitch acting like this, my nigga. She seen it in you. Now you just let it out. Can you get mad if you was a buster and your girl go for a real nigga? Can you? You too raw.
Other dudes. She said she went to the airport to pick up her friend. She went to go pick up some dude from Cleveland. She
Damn.
stopped in her location with me to go to the airport to go get her friend from Cleveland, right? Okay. She got a whole hotel with him. I see the message talking about she want to f*** him again, all this other stuff. What do you expect me to do?
What you expect me to do? Mess up the house? Damn. Fucking damn. She want to fuck him again. That's how you know this nigga gonna take her back, bro. And I'm telling you, if you take her back, she gonna keep fucking that nigga. I'm telling y'all niggas now, bro. If you take her back, no matter what she say, no matter how much she cry, she won't do it again. She now see you as a buster. She don't respect you no more, and you are now the weakling. But guess what? She gonna tell you she respect you. She gonna tell you still a man and make you feel like you not the weakling. But I promise you, all the respect that she got for you is out the window, nigga. You done took her back after she got cheating. I'm telling y'all niggas, don't do it. And it's gonna be hard, especially if the pussy on the head. It's gonna be hard, bro. But that's the thing about standing on your square, having morals and respect for yourself. You gotta let it go, no matter how hard it is, bro. Fight the temptation. It's gonna pass. Time heals pain. Time heals how good that pussy was. It's gonna pass. The first couple weeks gonna be tough, though. I ain't gonna tell you it ain't, my nigga. But you gotta go. You gotta go, especially if she willing to let you hit still, willing to let you fuck still. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. You gotta let her go. She's done.
This is all her stuff? Well, this is all our stuff.
We're supposed to be working on getting back together.
I get it, dude, if that's what's going on.
We supposed to be working on getting back together. Oh, nigga.
Working on getting back together.
Oh, nigga. And you get... Bro, if she linked up with him today, let's say she didn't fuck him today, you read the message where she said she want to fuck him again, so what happened in the past? You still want to get back with that? Damn, bro.
I get it, dude. If that's what's going on, I get it. Yeah.
So don't act like you're getting crazy, bro. Don't act like
You are.
Don't walk to look. Listen, man.
Bro, stop talking to me. I'm talking to
Okay, well, listen. If I'm standing here and you're walking at me,
bro,
and you're trying to push through me,
that's my roommate. I don't know you.
then you could ask me to move.
Okay,
you don't just push through me.
So I can go talk to my roommate.
If that's the case, if you give me respect, then I'll give you respect.
Nigga, you in my house. He little boy, this nigga. He know a bitch when he see one.
He just doesn't want to talk right now. He's scared. He told me what's going on, man, and my heart hurts for that shit. Cannot be easy.
You can get my information. Y'all can check for her.
Jesus Christ.
My nigga got the TV off the wall. You did.
She's with another dude.
Bro, you doing all this because, nigga, what about your house, bro? The roommate probably like, what the fuck? This nigga done got me a room with this whipped ass fool. Nigga messing up the house. That would have been a fight, squad. You better have broke the shit you pay for. You ain't broke my shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause damn.
Right now. So the roommate says that he's been drinking all night.
Bro, I'm not drinking all night, bro.
That's what you're...
It don't matter. You in the house. You're not in trouble.
I just woke up.
You in the house. You're not in trouble.
The police, man. I'm seeing all these messages.
I get that's why you're mad. I 100% trust us. We all get it.
So what are you talking about?
One's
drinking all night, bro.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what he said.
That's why I'm about to go talk to him. Y'all won't let me talk to him.
Because he doesn't want to talk to you, bud.
Okay, so it's that. I don't want to talk to y'all.
That doesn't fucking make sense. Jesus Christ.
What's up, man? Just so we're understanding where you guys are roommates, you guys live here?
Yeah, because what the you did? You think we want to be here? No, because you act like a child, so we have to come out here and deal with it because you want to act this way. But everyone else is trying to live their life. You want to act like this, and then we have to come deal with it. And then you're going to be with us. Jesus Christ.
Why are you working on my life?
Because I care about you. I care about everybody.
You know me, bro.
I don't need to know you to care.
Bro, don't lie like that, bro.
Okay, go somewhere and be mad.
I will, bro.
Bro, don't lie. Say you care about me, bro.
So the issue is,
He wish he
have to
did.
sue him civilly, probably, for all this stuff.
Right here.
Where?
I'm waiting on my peoples to come get me.
Okay, man.
Are you
Okay.
You're planning on leaving?
I'm leaving. What are you talking about? I'm leaving.
I'm asking.
Can I come in real quick?
Go ahead. What do you got to act like this, man? You're sitting here acting like
You
a
put your
child.
hands on me, bro.
Don't walk towards me aggressively.
Bro, I'm not walking towards you
If
aggressively.
I'm standing in here, you walk towards me?
Bro, you in my apartment, bro. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
Look what you did to your apartment. You're acting like a
Okay,
freaking
then
child
it's
here.
my
How
apartment.
about you grow up? You're an adult. How old are you?
I'm old enough to be an adult.
Then act like one. Don't sit here and break all your roommate's stuff.
Bro, this-
Now he's got to deal
I
with
paid
it.
for this too.
He's got to deal with it, though.
I paid
It's
for
not
this
just.
too.
You're not.
He in his room.
Your actions are affecting him
His stuff
as much
is
as they're
good.
affecting you.
I'm
My
not
nigga did
affecting
all
me,
this
bro.
out
I'm
of
letting all
bitch.
my emotion out.
Is this how he normally is? Are you guys like usually really good friends? I mean, we can all understand why he's livid. We get it. Not saying his actions are okay by any means. The issue is with you guys being roommates.
He's mad at me. I don't.
Why is he mad at you?
Because
Did you say something?
No, I didn't say shit. There's something about I knew the whole time,
Any threats like I'm gonna hurt you?
and no, he just tried to knock down my door.
This door?
Like he literally, it's locked. Like he somehow banged it open, and I just kept it shut with my hand.
Who's gonna clean this up? You.
She is, bro. When she get here, I'm making sure she see this, bro.
The she Derek is referring to as his girlfriend. What officers don't know is that she is just moments away from showing up.
Oh.
As things go completely sideways.
Y'all can clean
Got
it
him a
up.
little white girl.
So why you worried about who cleaning it up?
Because your actions are affecting him.
She went to go get her some more nigga dick, bro.
You should be.
So the problem is
Is that a white girl? Because if it is, I've been around a long time. And I'm telling y'all right now, white girls don't cheat on black niggas with white boys. She went to go get her another nigga, squad. Facts. Facts. Like, damn. I thought I had me a real nigga. You know, that's probably her first black nigga, you know what I'm saying? I got me a black nigga. He probably... And then a couple months in, found out this nigga was not the one she was looking for. Like, he ain't like Chief Keef. Let me go find me a nigga from Cleveland. A nigga from Ohio. Nigga, she went to another state to find a nigga. Cause she the same man, she went around the corner or she went with the whoop. He actually said Cleveland. That mean he live in a different state or city, squad. She on that.
you guys live
She look light skinned. She look white to me.
You have to sue him for everything he broke.
It was the hair.
It's like, because he was threatening her when she got home. She's the victim. She has to be the one.
Cap, all I'm gonna say.
You just have to tell her if she comes here, we have to come back out because there's an issue because they're arguing.
With a name like Jacob, it's Cap. All I would say is cool, white boy. Y'all women don't go back. I'm telling you now. Just leave it at that. Once they go back with a nigga, they not finna cheat on a nigga with that white. They gonna get them another. It's cool, Jacob. It's cool. We still Ghost ain't gonna top. We still all that. Believe me.
Then there's a good chance she's gonna get arrested and him. Obviously, right now things are tense. Until he leaves, I would say she should not be here. We're not telling her she can't.
Yeah, if she lives here,
We're just here. If she lives here and wants to come here, she can.
But if we come back out, they're both getting arrested.
If there's an issue or some sort of disorderly between them, we got to do something about it.
As the officers attempt to leave, Derek starts throwing items off the balcony.
I'm just going to tell him to not. Hey,
That
Derek.
nigga trying to go to jail, bro.
Well, listen, man, you're throwing stuff outside the balcony. You can't throw stuff outside.
Bro, I'm throwing her clothes, bro.
Okay, but you can't throw her stuff outside of the
He acting
balcony.
like a female.
Listen, you can't throw stuff outside. If you want to do stuff in here, that's on you. But dude, when you're throwing stuff outside, that's not your property.
Okay, bro. Thanks for letting me know, bro.
Still in a ticket?
Yeah, I'm still right.
Okay. Here's the deal, man. You're still getting a ticket.
Okay, bro. That's cool, bro. I'm not worried about
So now we got to wait.
Wait for what?
Write out the ticket before we can leave. Now just hang out for a sec. You are right now under arrest for disorderly conduct. We're writing you a ticket. Just hang tight, okay? We tried to be cool with you, man.
Bro, I thought y'all left, bro.
We did, man, but you're throwing stuff out the window.
Hello? Bro, can you come get me? She the one who out cheating. For real, the police here, they all in my face, bro. Come get me, bro. For real.
My niggas in shambles.
Come, bro.
Okay, but hang tight.
Them niggas in
I know, but
shambles.
we
I gotta
gotta
get my stuff.
Okay, but you gotta hang tight. How much stuff are you trying to grab? Backpack full of suitcase? Do you know how much?
Bro, all my stuff right here, bro. Bro, where's the ticket? It don't take this long. It take that long to write a ticket.
He's got to write it out, man, by
Bro,
hand.
no, bro. Every
It's
time
not
I
just
pull it
printed.
over, y'all write that in 2 seconds, bro.
Derek's girlfriend now arrives.
What the fuck is wrong with
What's
you,
wrong with
Derek?
you, bro?
Derek, I swear to
You swear to God what, bro?
I'm gonna kill you. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What's that called, bro? Ain't that a violation or something? She just
It's
said
a
she
threat,
don't get that's a
stupid.
threat, bro. Arrest her.
Derek, get your
This nigga
I
soft.
already got my stuff, bro. You late, bro.
huh?
You late.
Well, get the out.
Hold on. Stop. Don't listen. Derek, it's not worth there.
Yelling at me, bro. I can walk. This is my
We got her another nigga, man. She don't want to fuck with you no more.
Ma'am,
Oh my God.
listen. I get it's stressful.
I
Please.
ain't gonna kill him. I'm not gonna kill him.
What?
I'm not gonna do nothing.
Okay, but I need
That
you
is
need to be
a-
smart
she
first off with your
mixed?
choice of words, please. And then I get it's stressful, but there's a better way to handle this, okay? What you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to take him to court, okay? He obviously, because you guys live here, we kind of explained it to your
He
roommate a
broke
little
all her
bit. You guys
shit.
have shared property, so you're gonna have to take him to civil court
No,
for
this
this.
is my This is all my I'm good. I'm about to leave.
She white. Look, y'all ever seen y'all know how to be called black niggas when he acts square like a white boy? They say he whitewashed. My nigga, that's a white girl and she blackwashed. I'm telling you. That she white, bro. I'm telling y'all, squad. And yeah, he wasn't real enough to keep her. She about to leave and go fucking suck that other nigga so good tonight, squad. She either mixed or she white, bro. I gotta look at it some more. That camera's kind of blurry.
Yeah, good time at the airport, didn't you?
I had a good time at the airport.
Fucking hotel. Look at your laptop.
I'm gonna get all new shit, Derek. I'm gonna get all new shit. What you gonna get?
He said I had a good. Oh, you going to jail?
Stop. Right now. What are you doing back? Put your hands behind your back.
That nigga threw the laptop in her face.
Bro, my
Relax.
arm don't bend like that, bro.
Relax.
My arm do not bend, bro.
She said she had a great time at the airport, nigga.
Boy.
Bro, my arm do
Derek,
not
stop.
Okay,
Stop.
guys,
Bro,
guys.
watch out, bro.
Hey,
Bro,
Stop. Derek, relax.
my arm do not bend like that, bro.
I'm gonna have
You
Hold on. Hold on. Stop.
I will
readjust the
Bro, I swear to God,
Stop.
bro. If y'all, bro.
Stop
I
tensing
swear to
up.
God.
Stop.
Bro, my arm
Relax.
bend like that, bro. I'm not
Relax.
doing nothing, bro.
You're twisting your arm.
Bro, my arm do not bend. Bro,
Stop.
Bro,
Relax.
Bro, I have to do it myself, bro. My arm do not bend that way, bro.
Oh, she mixed. She mixed. She mixed. She mixed. She mixed. She mixed. She mixed.
My arm, bro.
On your back. And we reach
She's mixed.
Bro, I cannot, bro. I physically cannot move my arm, bro.
What's happening? What did I miss? See, she came here, he grabbed the laptop, threw it at her face.
But that's an offense, bro. She said she gonna kill me. What? Y'all not arresting her? What the fuck you doing?
Did you guys see him throw it?
Yeah, he threw it right in front of my face.
Oh, okay. Hey, you're under arrest for domestic violence. Okay? So you're going to jail. Let's go. Nope, going to jail. Don't care. Going to jail.
Let's go.
All right, bro. Can I put some clothes on, bro? Bro, I can't put no clothes on, bro. Bro, why are you grabbing me so aggressive? Oh my god.
Stop, dude.
Bro, stop. What, bro?
Relax.
Let's go to jail. Come on.
Look what you did to yourself, bro.
I don't care.
Y'all niggas gotta control your emotions. You going to jail and you got cheated on. You lost your bitch, apartment fucked up. All that he caused on himself besides the cheating part, bro. Don't let your emotions get control of you like that, man. This nigga's supposed to be free. Moved on from the bitch. That nigga's
Hey, that's your problem. Bro, that's all right.
He trying to run.
Stop.
Bro, get off of me.
Relax.
Bro, get off of me, bro.
Relax. Do not try and run.
I'm not trying to run.
What was that? What, you're training for a marathon? You're getting another resisting charge.
Bro, I'm trying to fix my arm, bro. My arm.
Stand up.
My arm is not even behind my back, bro. Look at my arm.
It's always like that. It's always like that. Cause the bitch is like, stop. Do you love him or not? Nigga threw the laptop at your face. You cheating on a nigga. You told him you had a good time at the airport. Now you telling the police to stop. Leave him alone. He gonna take her back and she gonna continue doing what she doing. Damn.
Bro, oh my god, bro.
She gonna hit him with that sorry.
Bro, what happened to your arm? What's wrong? How long with it? Yeah. All right, then I'll get you a squad. Sit down. I'm not playing the league, bro. We'll get you a squad.
Hey, his cell phone and his wallet's in your in the front, okay, man? You guys okay?
Yeah.
Everything's one of the things.
Jump out for a minute. Step over here
He
for
taking her back for sure.
He's going to quarter here. He's going to be here for like an hour.
Listen, man, are you going to be cool down there? You're not going to give us any issues?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
You get where you're at. And I can't blame you. I don't understand how she made it threat to me, but y'all arrested me. What threat?
If you want to,
she's right there.
if you want to talk to a prosecutor about that, you can talk to him about it. It's on camera, it's recorded. But from our perspective, it doesn't. You can request the footage if you want, but it doesn't.
All right, bet.
That's fine. Because here's the thing, man. It did not sound like to us that she was meaning it. It's not like she was running towards you saying, "Yeah, I'm going to kill you."
Domestic violence, though, for me, just throwing her.
It sound like she didn't mean it. What the fuck was that?
She blocked it. It's on your footage.
You attempted.
She blocked it with her face. It's on her footage.
I'll read you what it says.
You know what I mean?
She blocked it with your face.
Stop biting me.
That was fun. Did that bite hurt?
Sit down and act like a damn adult.
You shut the fuck up.
God, what are you mother? God damn it.
I'm still gonna grab it. I'm gonna still get it off.
In Toledo, Ohio, on April 22, 2024, a 911 call for a domestic disturbance spirals out of control, turning a routine arrest into a volatile encounter.
Everybody's getting bit lately. Vampires, man.
The following is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before. Just before 1 a.m., a man who identifies himself as Jermaine calls 911, reporting that the mother of his child is outside his home harassing him and he wants police to intervene.
She has a brick right now, and she does carry knives. Yeah, she already been threatening our lives, saying she's gonna kill the kids and everything, bro. I just went down and made a report about this stuff today, and she show up now.
They arrive to the home to find 23-year-old Destiny Coleman. She's unarmed and claims the man still inside the home is her husband.
I knew he was gonna call the police. We've been arguing nonstop. Okay. But I didn't bring no weapons or nothing.
You live here?
No, I stay up the street.
So you just came just to talk with him?
Yeah, I've been trying to talk to him. We just lost a baby 3 days ago.
Okay.
Well, one of the twins.
While the officers wait with Destiny, others knock on the door and meet with Jermaine.
I called because she keep harassing
just talk to me, just talk to me.
I told her to stay away from me. I've been asked her to leave me alone.
Okay, was there any verbal threats?
She always making fun without having me answer my phone. Now. Listen, let me show you something.
This is all stuff that you've already reported. We're talking about
Listen, right now, I don't have any threats because I have not been talking to her.
Okay.
She's been talking on the Ring camera.
Meanwhile, Destiny explains her reasons for showing up at his house in the middle of the night.
He told me that he had over here and like that just being funny because I'm pregnant.
Okay.
They got a house full of drugs.
You just keep your hands out of your pockets, please.
I got an inhaler and a cigarette. If you want to taste me, go to head. Kill a baby. Do it. I don't care. I really don't give a
said
right
about
now.
that?
Hi, husband. Really? Well, Paul said right there and said you was over here cheating.
Stay over here.
You don't even live here.
Jermaine states that he filed a harassment report against her earlier in the day, but confirms there were no specific threats of violence against him tonight.
So you just want her to leave?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
He does live here.
Okay, that's just what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's all I called you for.
Okay, so
Period.
so
I want her to get away or take her to jail, do something, get her away from me and stop her from coming in here.
It's an unwanted. It's not.
You came to my house before. Me and you dealt with her before. I remember you. Remember when y'all had to come in the house? The girl called the police and said I had the baby in the house.
Oh my God!
That's her. That's her.
Has your baby taken?
Yes, she has my baby taken now. That's the same girl.
Really, Joshua did that.
Listen, you have to leave. If you don't leave, you go to jail.
Oh well, tell him to talk and be a adult. You didn't. Oh well, he should have been at the hospital when the baby died 3 days ago. But instead, the want to buy and be a and come around putting his hands on me.
You need to leave and not come back.
I understand.
No, you don't understand. You don't. You really don't.
So are you going to leave?
When Destiny makes it clear she has no plans to leave, an attempt to place her under arrest quickly devolves into chaos.
When you talk?
He's not going to talk. He's not going to talk.
Go ahead. Yes, do it. Get up.
Stop. You gonna kick me?
Hey. Yeah. Go ahead.
Stop biting me.
Let me go then. I don't care. Let me go. Please,
I got mine out.
Baby, please, dude.
Nope, tell her we need our hands.
That's it. Go ahead. Will you stop? Let me go there. It's a baby in my belly. That's all hurting, dumbasses. You're supposed to put him in the front.
Hold on.
She's trying to bite. No, I'm not trying to bite you.
Bite me already.
Let me go. Y'all hurting my baby.
Stop biting so we can get the cup.
I'm not biting.
Biting.
I'm trying to tell y'all.
You're not trying anything.
Okay, I don't care.
Break my thumb, I dare you.
I'm not trying to break your thumb. That was fun. Did that bite hurt? Jermaine, I'm gonna get out. And when I get out, I'm gonna beat that you with. Ooh. I wish I would have tased me in my stomach. Why not? That's not fair. Right. Did that bite hurt? Oh, I can't wait to get out.
Did she bite you?
Yeah. She kicked me.
You shouldn't have been hurting my fucking baby. These are supposed to go in the front pregnant. Hello, they're supposed to go in the front. I'm 4 months pregnant.
The position of her handcuffs behind her back will remain a major source of contention as she continues to demand they be placed in the front. What officers don't yet realize is that the struggle with Destiny is far from over.
Have a seat.
When y'all untwisted, do y'all not understand I'm
Just have a
pregnant? Fix the handcuffs then.
I don't think you get to decide what happens.
Actually, I do because I know my right. Yep.
I don't know how to check.
Either fix the handcuffs. Okay. Y'all really think it's a joke? Fix the handcuffs. I'm telling you, if y'all don't fix these handcuffs, I keep saying it.
We can't fix it because you're combative right now.
It's the fact. If you fix them, I'll calm the down.
Well, calm down first.
I'm telling you,
Outside, officers take a moment to regroup after the tense ordeal.
She just said her baby died in the hospital 3 days ago. She miscarried. Now all of a sudden she's 4 months pregnant.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say she's been saying that the whole time.
What the
She tried to act like she had HIV.
Sheesh.
Yeah, definitely called 212.
fix them. Fix the handcuffs.
Calm down.
Fix them, man.
You don't tell me what to do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep doing it.
All right, well, then you're gonna get another charge.
I don't give a
A police sergeant arrives at the scene, and other officers fill him in on the situation with Destiny.
She admitted Melendez pretty good. That guy supposedly says she might have HIV. He's gone.
She's psycho. About to break this door.
Take her out.
Take her out?
Yeah.
It was an unwanted. It escalated.
Yeah.
It was an unwanted.
I'm already involved. I'm not.
I'm involved.
Just stay back and watch.
Who all's gonna have?
Now, I'm not. Please.
Get out. Get out.
grab me.
Get out of the car.
You wanted to put your knee in my stomach.
Get out of the car. Sit her on the curb.
Y'all grab me hard.
Sit her on the curb.
I'm gonna beat the out of you.
You ain't gonna beat the out of nobody.
Y'all think you're
Sit down and act like a damn adult.
You shut the up.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know who y'all think I am.
Nobody.
Get out there
You're nobody.
one-on-one with me. I will beat all y'all.
Nobody. You're nobody.
Hey, who are you?
You're absolutely
Who
nobody.
are you? Right, exactly.
I'm the one that's telling you you're going to jail.
I don't give a
And you're
if
gonna,
I was going to hell.
And you're gonna catch a felony, so.
Oh my. So, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know why that doesn't surprise me.
Ouch.
You gonna be okay to be in the back of the wagon?
If y'all fix the handcuffs.
Okay. All right.
If not, I don't know what to tell y'all.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as you relax, we can do that.
When you fix the handcuffs, I'll really relax. But have anybody
You
did
have
that
to
yet?
relax for us to fix
How am I gonna relax if I'm telling you that something is hurting
screaming
me?
at us, and then we'll go.
Well, you can't hear when I talk like this.
All right. Well,
Literally.
All right, so we're gonna fix your cuff. You're gonna comply, right?
Yeah, fix the cuffs.
Well,
all right.
you're gonna comply,
Stand up
right?
and face the car right there.
Mm-hmm.
She bit him pretty good too.
The dude?
Yeah, he's already
She
no,
had Melendez. He's got a
What?
huge mark on his arm.
Everybody's getting bit lately.
Yeah.
Vampires, man.
She has HIV.
An officer works to loosen Destiny's handcuffs, but things escalate when she realizes he has no plans to move them in front of her.
You keep moving while I'm trying to do this.
I'm literally standing still.
Yeah, but you're moving your
Bro,
hands.
you can't do it right. Have
Okay.
somebody else do it then.
Okay.
All you do is complain. What did you become an officer for? It's not even supposed to. Hold on. Because they're supposed to go in the front when you're pregnant. Why the is they still behind me after y'all just
She told you
slammed
had a
me on?
miscarriage already.
I had lost one twin. I'm pregnant with 2 kids.
Get in the wagon. Get in the wagon. Get in the wagon, please.
Pull it, break it.
Get in the wagon.
Pull it, break it. Do it.
God, what are you mother? God damn it.
Go ahead. Yep, do it while I'm pregnant. Go ahead.
Well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen exactly the way it's going to happen. I don't care if you're pregnant or not.
I don't care.
You start kicking us and biting us, that's not going to happen.
Fix it.
That's not going to happen. He didn't pull your hair. Get in the wagon. Look at you. What are you so angry about?
Because I keep saying fix it.
Well, ain't nothing getting fixed as long as you're acting the way you're acting.
Go ahead.
You're combative. You're kicking at us. You're biting at us. That ain't going to happen.
Fix it. Keep on. And I have to. So go ahead. Go ahead. Keep pulling my hair. Cracker.
That's racist.
You.
Suddenly, an unexpected move by Destiny catches officers off guard.
Getting out. What the fuck? How the hell is she getting out? I thought you fixed it. I did buckle it. Targa, what? It was buckled.
Don't make me ride in the back with her.
You have to calm down. You have to calm down.
I'm just gonna sit on her the whole way.
No, don't sit on her. Don't sit on her. Just
literally, y'all don't give a
me.
Fix the handcuffs.
You want me to just let her go?
No.
Can you fix the
Listen, I'm gonna do it right now. Relax, all right?
They've already been adjusted.
You see, I'm trying to do it. You're moving. Yeah, she's gonna get them loosened up, or she's gonna pull her hand.
No, all I need was give it a
They've been fixed twice.
No, they haven't.
They can put their fingers in between them. That's as
No, I know how they're supposed to go.
If you could calm down, we wouldn't be going through any of this.
Listen.
No. That's not even close to being accurate.
Go ahead.
Outside, one officer makes a concerning observation.
She's really pregnant. She should not be drinking. She should not be drinking. You can smell it on her.
Stop fighting.
Oh, my
You done?
Ouch, my...
If you calm down, this ends. It's that simple. You calm down and this ends. We're only reacting to what you're doing.
My leg is...
If you could sit there and be calm and calm down, all of this stops.
My leg. Ouch.
Are you done?
Are you going to be done?
Oh, yeah.
If you're done,
As soon as we let you go, you start kicking.
Because you're Mickey.
Well, then stop.
I think Melendez is proof that she's going to bite or spit as soon as she gets a chance.
I just don't understand people like this.
There has to be something mentally off. This is not normal behavior.
You understand this is happening because you're doing it, right?
Because they keep hurting me.
Because you won't stop.
How can I stop it from it?
You just have to sit there and stop. That's what you have to do.
Since there's a possibility that Destiny may be pregnant, officers call paramedics to the scene to assess her condition. Meanwhile, the police sergeant asks Jermaine about another troubling claim.
Is she? She keeps talking about HIV.
She keeps sending me messages and like that too, bro. Like I told him.
I mean, do you know that she was diagnosed?
No.
Okay.
Like I told him, I never seen it, and I got tested too, over just in January, and
that was negative.
Negative for anything: herpes, HIV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, nothing on my skin.
Make sure you get checked for syphilis. There are billboards for that.
Yeah.
To ensure the officer's safety and prevent any further biting incidents, they choose to fit Destiny with a mesh covering known as a spit hood.
I don't need that. I'm not spitting on anybody.
Yeah, just in case.
I have seizures.
Well, you bite people, so.
I'm not trying to bite nobody. I have asthma.
But you already did, though.
Do you know how long ago that was? I'm not trying to bite nobody. No.
But you won't. See, you just tried to bite her.
No, I'm trying to get this thing off my face.
You're not gonna get it off, though.
Take me to the jail and let my baby die there. I'm not doing it. All I wanted was this off.
You gotta keep it on.
I'm not trying to do.
You gotta keep it on.
Just step on her coat.
How many months pregnant are you, ma'am?
4.
Are you gonna be calm and let us check you out? All right, ma'am. I don't want you spitting on this guy.
I'm not spitting. I haven't spit on nobody. I want it off though. I can't do this like this. I'm not gonna do that. My mouth is dry.
Their blood pressure come back?
I'm gonna put it on this side so make sure your baby's okay. We can take you to the hospital now. You can get out of this van. Let's go to the hospital.
I'm not getting out until it's off my face.
Ma'am, come on out of the van.
I'm telling you, I'm not.
Outside, officers recall how the earlier arrest spiraled out of control.
She was fast with it. Did she, like...
Was it when we were standing or when we went down?
No, when we went down. When like, on the way down.
She latched
I heard you. I heard it clear English. It's like, stop biting me. Clear English. No freaking Hispanic accent at all. Huh? They don't need us to go to the hospital. Yeah. Take care of.
Due to Destiny's continued resistance in the transport van, paramedics are unable to complete their assessment. They decide to transport her to the hospital by ambulance, which is easier said than done.
Why are you grabbing me? Am I your kid? Am I
you're
ran out?
like one.
Oh, yeah. And you're big. It's
You have to stop fighting. You have to stop fighting.
Can I get a call back and be let in, please?
Jesus, take the wheel. She's going to the hospital and she's still fighting?
I'm still gonna grab it. I'm still get it off.
Head goes up there.
I'm flexible. It's gonna come off.
Which way are we gonna spin it? This way?
Yeah. Put me on my
Spin
stomach.
it. There we go. Here we go.
Yay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice and easy.
Destiny is taken to Toledo Hospital, where she is soon medically cleared for transport to the Lucas County Corrections Center. This time, she seems much more willing to cooperate with law enforcement.
Can I have a cigarette before I go? Nope.
I don't even have a cigarette. So.
I have some in my purse.
We'll get them.
23-year-old Destiny Coleman was initially arrested and released on a $25,000 bond. However, while out on bond, she was arrested again in July 2024 on suspicion of vehicular assault resulting in injury. Destiny entered a plea of not guilty, but the case was dismissed when the victim failed to appear in court. On October 9, 2024, for the incident occurring in April, Destiny was found guilty of attempted felonious assault, as well as 2 counts of 4th-degree felony assault. 2 other charges were dismissed. She was sentenced to a combined total of 12 months in prison with 40 days credit for time served. On January 8, 2025, her attorneys filed a motion to grant an early release, but this motion was ultimately denied. Her scheduled release date is August 30th, 2025.
Today, I'm going to tell you 3 stories about real people who had something totally unexpected and insane happen to them, think like stranger than fiction, that kind of thing, that not only changed their lives, but also in some of these cases, changed the lives of millions of other people too. Now, these stories are kind of a slight departure from what is considered normal on this channel. They're not that far off, but they're a little different. So if you like them, let us know in the comments and we will do more of them. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please put glitter in the like button's car vents so when they turn on their AC, it gets blown all over the inside of their car. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's stories. On the afternoon of July 9th, 2001, a 13-year-old boy named Cody Clausen carried a bag of camping supplies through the woods near Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Cody had come to the woods for a camping trip with his dad and his Boy Scout troop. But about 30 minutes earlier, he had broken off from the main group, they were over at camp, and he had hiked a couple of miles to his dad's truck to pick up some extra camping supplies. And now that he had those supplies, he had turned around and begun hiking back towards the rest of the group. As Cody hiked along, he kind of let his mind wander. He was thinking about what story he was going to tell that night around the campfire to impress the other Boy Scouts. But as he was thinking about it and kind of walking along, he started to realize that things didn't look familiar. And at some point, he started to wonder, like, why haven't I actually reached the campsite yet? And at that point, he stopped, he didn't panic, and he just kind of looked around and realized that he actually had left the path. He was not even in an area that he had seen before. And so being a Boy Scout, he kind of stayed calm and he just turned around and decided he would retrace his steps back to his dad's truck and start again. He would obviously be very late back to camp, but at least he'd come back in one piece. But as he retraced his steps, he really didn't know where he had come from, because again, he had sort of left the trail because his mind was wandering. And so before long, Cody realized he was totally lost, and he started to panic. Hours passed by as Cody frantically walked around the woods, calling out for help, but not hearing anybody calling back to him. And then as the sun began to set, he also noticed that storm clouds were rolling in. And so this situation was becoming dire very quickly. But he told himself, don't worry, my father and the Boy Scout troop, they clearly know by this point that I'm missing and they must be out looking for me. But Cody knew there was no telling how long it would take for them to find him. I mean, it could be hours or it could be days. Or, the thought was totally terrifying, but they might not find him at all. But at this point, Cody was able to calm himself down and tell himself, like, hey, you're a Boy Scout. You can do this. You can at least stay out here, make a shelter, build a fire, and kind of just wait while someone comes to find you. That's all you can do at this point. And so he had his bag of supplies with him, and so he took it off and he dumped the contents out. And quickly he realized the contents of this bag were not going to help him. Certainly not going to help him build a fire or shelter. But worse than that was there also wasn't any food, and he barely had any water. So effectively, he had nothing. And then, of course, to make matters even worse, the sky suddenly let loose, and Cody was caught in a major thunderstorm. And so Cody rounded up whatever he could, threw it in his bag, and just started running in the dark through the trees as hail is pelting him and it's thunder and lightning, and he's got no idea what he's gonna do. And then suddenly lightning flashes across the sky, and for a second the forest is illuminated, and right up ahead of him is this cave. And so Cody runs into the cave and he takes shelter inside of it. It's pouring rain outside, it's so loud, it's so chaotic, and he's terrified. But now it's like his body just shuts down. He's so overwhelmed, he's so scared as he's laying there like wondering, am I gonna die out here? That he just closes his eyes and passes out just from sheer exhaustion. The next morning, Cody woke up still sheltering inside of this cave. And the first thing he noticed is when he looked out into the woods was the storm had stopped, the rain had let up. And then the second thing he noticed was he heard the distinct sound of a helicopter flying somewhere nearby. Cody instantly ran out of the cave and looked up into the sky, and sure enough, there was this small helicopter flying around roughly in his area. And so using some of his Boy Scout training, he pulled off his belt and he used the metal buckle of his belt to reflect the sunlight back up at the pilot to get the pilot's attention. And it worked. He got the pilot clearly to notice him, and before long, he noticed the pilot hovering down lower and lower right over the tree line, looking for a place to land. And so Cody is so overjoyed, he's about to be saved. He grabs his stuff and just charges over roughly to the area where the pilot's trying to land, and by the time he gets in that vicinity, he sees the pilot actually touching down in a clearing. Cody can't believe it. It's only been one day and he's been found. And so Cody runs over to the helicopter, throws the door open, gets inside, and the pilot just turns around and says, "Good morning." And Cody, at first, doesn't really register what's happening here. He's only just completely relieved that he is going to survive. But then he kind of stops and looks at the pilot, and he can't believe who it is that's just rescued him. It would turn out the night before, when Cody did not return to the camp, his father and the Boy Scout troop did contact authorities, and before long, a local search party was organized. And one of those people who volunteered to be a part of the search was an amateur pilot who lived in the area. That helicopter pilot was the one who found Cody 10 miles away from his Boy Scout troop's camp. When that pilot reunited Cody with his father, Cody's father naturally assumed that, given the trauma of the last 24 hours, that Cody would not want to rejoin the Boy Scout troop and continue this camping trip, that he would want to go home. But instead, Cody said, no, I want to go back to the Boy Scout troop. I want to sit there and tell them what happened to me, because now I have a campfire story that they are not gonna believe. Cody had trekked 10 miles through the wilderness all alone, spent the night with bears out in a cave somewhere in the middle of a storm, and then ultimately got rescued by this amateur helicopter pilot who happened to be, at the time, one of the most famous people in the world. The amateur pilot was the actor who had played Han Solo in Star Wars, he was Indiana Jones, and had starred in several other major blockbuster movies. It was none other than Harrison Ford. You know that feeling when you just get totally immersed and lost inside of a story from start to finish? Well, that's exactly what Audible brings right to you. Whether you're stuck in traffic or hitting bring you right to the library audiobook. Sure awaits. Audible. In September of 1954, a 14-year-old boy named Rich shuffled his way down the hallway of a children's hospital in England. He coughed and wheezed as he slowly walked down the hall next to other sick kids as they made their way towards the hospital's classroom. Now, Rich didn't know what kind of lesson he and the other kids were going to get today, but frankly, he didn't care. Anything was better than just sitting in his hospital room, bored out of his mind. So Rich was in the hospital because he was suffering from tuberculosis, which is an infectious lung disease. And over the past 10 weeks, he'd been bouncing around to different hospitals, and in fact, his condition was still so bad that this hospital had informed his parents that Rich might need to stay in the hospital for another 2 years. And as awful as this sounded to Rich, this actually was not the first time something like this had happened to him. When he was 6 years old, his appendix burst, and then he contracted an infection that left him in a coma for several weeks. And then when he came out of the coma, he had to recover in a hospital for nearly a year. And all this time in hospitals had really impacted Rich's life. in particular in terms of how far behind he had fallen in school. And because his family was not a well-off family, they couldn't afford to hire a tutor to kind of keep Rich up to speed. And so basically at this point, Rich's education consisted of, whatever random classes these hospitals he was staying in sporadically had. Whenever they hired a teacher to come in and teach basket weaving or, shop class, whatever was available, that was his education. So that day, when Rich walked into the hospital classroom, he did not have high expectations about what he would be taught that day. He figured it was just going to be some random class that he would sit through that at least was keeping him out of his hospital bedroom. But the instant he saw the teacher for the day and saw what was surrounding the teacher, he was really excited. Because all around the teacher were musical instruments. And Rich, as a kid, had always dreamed of playing the drum. He had seen one day in a Windows shop a drum set, and he had wanted it so badly, but his family didn't have the money to pay for it, so he had never had a chance to do it. But now it seemed like Rich was finally going to get his chance. And so when the teacher began handing out the instruments to the kids, Rich demanded that he get the drum set. He would not play anything else. And the teacher was like, okay. And so he was given the drum. And then that day, the teacher led the class, through a couple of basic songs, and Rich played the drum, and he and everybody else were objectively terrible, like the music was awful. But by the end of the class, Rich was totally revitalized here. I mean, he hadn't discovered some special new talent for playing the drums, but he had discovered that he had this amazing passion for playing the drum. It was like all he wanted to do now. And he figured that because he was going to be stuck in the hospital for the foreseeable future, he would just spend all of his time on practicing playing the drum. So the following day, Rich went into a closet in the hospital and he found these long sticks that were normally used for knitting, and they became his drumsticks. And for the next year and a half, Rich basically banged these makeshift drumsticks on anything he could to practice. And then also every few weeks, when the music teacher came back to the hospital, Rich would go to those classes and he would try to learn as much as he possibly could from the teacher. And that was basically his whole life, was those classes and banging on everything he could. Finally, in 1955, when Rich was 16 years old, he was released from the hospital. He was finally cured from tuberculosis. However, despite having his health back, it isn't like his life suddenly got a whole lot easier. It isn't like, he left the hospital and, magically became this amazing drummer and that was his life. Instead, his family was really struggling financially, and so Rich couldn't go back to school. He basically had to get a job in a factory and work full-time just to help support his family. And for Rich, he felt like that was the right thing to do. He didn't resent his family. This is what his life was. And what he did is he found joy, while he was working in grabbing makeshift drumsticks and just banging on stuff any chance he could. And he figured that that would be his life. He would just work and, find joy in drumming whenever he could. But Rich's outlook on life changed dramatically on Christmas of 1956, so a year after he'd left the hospital. Because on that Christmas, Rich's stepfather had secretly saved up all this extra money by working all these extra shifts and doing whatever he could to finally buy Rich his own drum set. To this point, Rich had not been able to have his own drum set. Everything was makeshift. And so that Christmas, he gets this drum kit, and Rich is like, this is the best gift I've ever been given. And he began practicing even more. And pretty quickly, he began playing with local bands every time he had time off. And before long, he became known as like a guy in town who was like one of the best drummers. And then shortly after that, right as Rich is kind of hitting his stride, being this kind of local celebrity, this local very popular band fired their drummer. And so it made perfect sense that they approached Rich and said, hey, will you join our band? And Rich said, let's do it. By this point, Rich had become known by his stage name, Ringo Starr. And that band that recruited him was the Beatles. Around 11 a.m. on Sunday, October 20th, 1991, a 31-year-old man named Will woke up next to his wife in their home in Oakland, California. And the first thing Will noticed as soon as he was awake was the smell of smoke. Will got out of his bed and went to the window, and when he looked out, he could see there was this big plume of smoke coming from what looked like right outside of his neighborhood. And since he lived in California, where wildfires were unfortunately a common reality, he thought that's got to be a wildfire. So Will called 911 to report it, But the dispatcher told him that yes, that is a wildfire. It's on a mountainside, about 600 feet away from Will's house in his neighborhood. But they said the fire department was already all over it, and the smoke he was seeing was simply the leftover, after the fire had been put out. So no real threat here. And so after hearing this, Will's mind was put at ease. He thanked the dispatcher and hung up, and then he went about his normal morning routine. And as he brushed his teeth and took a shower, his mind began to wander towards work. So Will was a software developer, and he was in the middle of working on this video game about ants, like the insects, and how they go about building their homes. And Will was really excited about this game. But as Will left the bathroom and happened to look out the window that he looked out before and saw that plume of smoke out on the mountainside, any thoughts of his video game immediately vanished. Because now he was looking out and he saw this huge cloud of smoke that, in addition to being much bigger, there was also obvious flames licking up. Like, clearly the fire is not extinguished, and worse, it appeared the fire was moving in the direction of his neighborhood, and pretty quickly. And so Will immediately grabs the phone and he calls 911 again, and he reports that, hey, I'm seeing a fire here. And he could tell just from the dispatcher's voice that they were kind of surprised. They felt like the fire was under control. Like, what are you talking about? And so Will realized, based on this response, I can't afford to wait for help. I mean, it's unclear if they even know what's going on here, and this fire appears to be moving right towards me. And so after hanging up with the dispatcher, Will knew he had to act. And so Will runs to his wife, who by this point, she's looking out the window too. She's terrified. And they're like, what are we gonna do here? And they decide, we just gotta evacuate. By this point, the fire is literally coming right towards them. The smoke is beginning to overwhelm them. And so they just grabbed a couple of bare necessities. They charged out of their house and they're looking down the street. And again, the smoke by this point is kind of, making it hard to see, but they can see other neighbors are frantically getting in their cars to evacuate as well. And Will and his wife, they're about to speed off when they remember their neighbors had gone away for the weekend and they had left their old parents to look after their 2-year-old kid. And they didn't have a car. And so Will's like, oh my gosh, he runs next door, he pounds on the door, and the grandparents, they come out and they're scared as well. They have the 2-year-old, and Will's like, come on. They grabbed a couple of necessities, they hopped in Will's car, and before long, all of them were peeling down the road, evacuating. 1 week later, Will returned to his neighborhood, this time in the passenger seat of a police cruiser, because you needed an official escort to be able to go into this area because of how dangerous it was. There was debris everywhere. When the police officer stopped in front of Will's address and Will got out, he looked at where his house used to be and it was just gone. Like every other house in his neighborhood, it was completely leveled by this fire. That fire burned for 4 days, destroyed thousands of homes, including basically Will's entire neighborhood, and it killed 25 people. Will walked towards the rubble that used to be his home, and as he stood there surveying the area, he was hit with this epiphany. He didn't really care that he had lost all of his things, like everything he owned basically had been destroyed by this fire, but he just didn't care. Instead, all he cared about and all he was grateful for was his family. Like, they had survived, they'd escaped the fire. That's what mattered. And so as he's standing there, sort of a little bit numb to what's happened here, he looked down and he saw ants. Now remember, he was developing this video game about ants, and so had done tons of research about ants. And he saw these ants that definitely were destroyed by this fire as much as the people were. I mean, their colonies were all burnt up and destroyed as well. But he saw these ants, and what they were doing was gathering supplies and rebuilding, brick by brick. That's what they were doing. That's what ants do. They simply go forward and rebuild, no matter the tragedy. And this gave Will an idea. 9 years later, Will finally released his video game. But it was not the game he had been developing, the one about ants. Instead, it was inspired by the ants he saw marching through the rubble after this horrible fire. In this game he made, you could create characters like avatars who could live entire digital lives, complete with homes and neighbors and spouses and kids and friends, like it really was an actual universe in this game. But this game is not set in a perfect fantasy world. Instead, the universe that these characters live inside of is meant to mimic the real world that we live in, where tragedies can strike, and often do, sort of unpredictably. Death, destruction, wildfires, you name it, that's just kind of part of living in this world. And so in this game, characters periodically would just have horrible things happen to them, and they would have to rebuild, just like the ants had to rebuild, and just like Will and his family and everybody else affected by that fire. You just have to move forward and rebuild. Will's game wound up being a massive success, selling tens of millions of copies worldwide, and today hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people still play it. Will's full name was Will Wright, and the game he created was The Sims. In case you haven't heard yet, our newest graphic novel, Mr. Ballin Presents Where Nightmares Live, is a dark and mysterious time to add to your order very quickly. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of today's episode in the comments. And remember, we have hundreds of videos for you to binge right now. But if you're looking for a recommendation from me of that one video that's worth your time, well, it's this one right here. So give it a watch. All right, until next time, see ya.
Gas mask.
Hey, Mimi.
On the 19th of September 2017, an anonymous 4chan user posted a picture of a gas mask, 2 bottles of vinegar, and a jug of bleach, captioned, "About to test out this gas mask." While some brushed it off, thinking that the OP was just messing around, a few showed genuine curiosity and egged on the OP to continue his experiment. Okay, post results if you live. However, this curiosity turned into concern when the OP returned with an update 20 minutes later, stating, "What could go wrong? Will report." Alongside this, he posted a picture of the vinegar being poured into a mysterious yellow substance, which looked shockingly similar to concentrated chlorine gas. For those who don't know, chlorine gas is a deadly war chemical that was used by the German army during the First World War. More importantly, the only chemicals needed to synthesize this dangerous gas are bleach and vinegar, the exact materials OP had with him. The OP either didn't know about the gas or seriously underestimated its danger. Unfortunately, by the time he realized the gravity of his situation, it was already too late. Because just a few minutes later, he returned with a disturbing update. "Holy, it hurts. Might have to go to the hospital." This also included a picture that showed his arm developing blisters and turning an alarming shade of red. These symptoms matched perfectly with known signs of chlorine gas exposure, sparking immediate concern for the safety of OP and anyone in his vicinity. "You fool, that will burn your skin and soak into your surroundings. Legit question, please tell me you don't have an apartment/pets or roommates. Depending on your mixture, you just messed up big time. Let's say you made only 4 ounces of gas. That comes out to 29,962 parts per million. Concentrations of about 400 parts per million and above are generally fatal over 30 minutes, and at 1,000 parts per million and above, fatality ensues within only a few minutes. Dude, go vent yourself somewhere and literally bathe with a garden hose. You are going to melt otherwise. It acts on flesh, not just on breathing pathways. It melts flesh, which makes people drown in their own melted lungs, but your arms can get messed up too." While the other users were panicking, the OP made 2 other posts, each showing his arm in increasingly worse condition. "It's starting to peel and fall off, still hurts," with his last reply simply stating, "Goodbye." After posting this update, the OP vanished from the thread, leading many to believe that he might have actually passed away due to this experiment gone wrong. Some even claimed the incident had taken the lives of several of his neighbors. However, despite extensive searching, I wasn't able to find any news reports mentioning such a gruesome incident. If something of this magnitude had actually happened, it would have definitely made headlines. More importantly, I couldn't find a single credible source confirming just the OP's death either. In other words, we don't know what happened to him after his last post. The lack of any news coverage could suggest that the OP may have survived the chlorine gas exposure, possibly after calling emergency services and being rushed to the hospital. But that's highly unlikely. Even in moderate concentration, chlorine gas can end someone's life in minutes. Yet the OP kept posting about his worsening state for over 30 minutes after creating the deadly chemical. Which brings us to the other possibility, that this whole thing was completely fake from the beginning. To some viewers, the peeling skin on his arm looks suspiciously like makeup, or at most some well-done special effects. A now deleted user on Reddit even added a personal anecdote to back this theory, stating, "I have a face mask exfoliator that goes on wet and looks pretty much the same as Anon's skin in the first pic, and peels off like the following pics. See how the skin is peeling off and shows regular skin underneath? If he was actually burned, the skin underneath would look red and or bleeding. He probably just grabbed one of his girlfriend's exfoliators and slapped it on because it looked red enough to fool people." If the whole thing was staged, it would also explain some of the strange behavior I noticed from the OP. Things like, why did he stay in the bathroom with the hazardous gas for so long instead of rushing out immediately? And how was he able to endure the excruciating pain he must have been in, all while taking perfectly framed, still pictures of his arm? However, despite all the signs suggesting it was a complete hoax, there's still no definitive way to know for sure. Maybe one day a news article will be found that announced the OP's death, or perhaps the OP will come forward and reveal the truth. Until then, the gas mask incident remains one of the most disturbing threads in 4chan history. Bank robber. On August 20, 2015, a 4chan user posted his plans to rob a bank later that day, stating, "Okay, today is the day. I'm going to walk into the bank at 3 p.m. with sunglasses, a hat, a sweater, a BB gun, and this note. I'll get out, dump the sweater and BB gun, and ride out on my bike back to the hotel. I'm serious. Wish me luck." Alongside this was a picture of a handwritten note that he planned to hand over to the bank teller, stating things like, "I want $5,000, $150 bills only, and I have a gun in my jacket." However, threads like these aren't anything new on 4chan. More often than not, it's just some anonymous user who's bored, trolling, or desperate for attention. So, despite the OP's insistence on being serious about his plans, this one seemed no different. One user even recognized the OP from a previous thread where he talked about robbing the bank for $20,000 instead. To make matters worse, the OP didn't use a VPN before, allowing someone to trace his approximate location back to Jacksonville. By this point, most users saw the OP as nothing more than a clueless wannabe. However, while everyone was making fun of him, the OP did what no one expected. He followed through with his plans, setting off a manhunt that would last for weeks. It started with him showing off the BB gun he brought to the robbery and getting drunk to calm his nerves. From there, he stayed active in the thread and kept everyone updated on his whereabouts. He also ditched anonymity and began posting under the AnonDump username so others could follow his updates more easily. Minutes before the planned time, he posted about someone stealing his bike, which he was going to use for the robbery, before going completely silent. This led many to believe that the plan was cancelled, but around 25 minutes later, AnonDump returned with images of the money he stole along with a detailed description of what he did and what he was doing next. However, while he saw himself as a master criminal, the police weren't far behind. His hat and glasses did little to hide his identity, allowing investigators to plaster his face across news networks. They also put a $3,000 reward for any information that could lead to his arrest. This left the OP fearing for his life as the gravity of his actions began to sink in. "Hey guys, guy who robbed the bank here. My face is on the news and there's a $3,000 reward for tips leading to my capture. I'm scared. Robbing a bank wasn't worth it at all. I have like $4,800 left. I'm scared of leaving the hotel. I want to get out of here, but somebody may see me. I'm trapped." And this fear was justified. He was now a fugitive who was being actively pursued by the police. On top of that, he also had a BB gun on him, which looked like a real gun at first glance. If the officers barged into his hotel room and saw this gun nearby, there was a real possibility he could lose his life over a relatively small amount. Despite his growing fear, he continued updating everyone on 4chan about his whereabouts until the 21st of August around 3 p.m. when, after hiding in a hotel room for nearly 24 hours, he managed to escape the city and vanish from the thread. Now, it's unclear what happened next, but based on what I've seen, it's likely the investigators were already monitoring his updates on 4chan, and his post about taking a cab from the hotel gave them the lead they needed to track him down. On September 2nd, 2015, authorities arrested 26-year-old Pedro Smith, aka AnonDump, about 70 miles from the crime scene in Gainesville. He was charged with armed robbery and faced a minimum of 10 years in prison. However, after a trial in September, he was sentenced to only 3 years in prison, which didn't make sense to some people on the internet. How did he get away with such a light sentence after robbing a bank and hiding from the police for so many days? A few people looked into his whereabouts after his release in March of 2018 and discovered that he was living in a luxurious home worth over $1.5 million in Miami. This pointed to the possibility that he had wealthy parents who could also afford top-tier lawyers to help reduce his sentence. In other words, the only reason Pedro had for robbing a bank and potentially risking his life was to gain the attention and approval of other users on 4chan. Researching these 4chan videos is some of the sketchiest research I do on this channel. Everything is anonymous, so personal info, but don't always keep your relative jobs with all of our info. Can be you locking them alerts me if they find bank $1 million or a dollar or to find the Monon tunnels. In April of 2018, a 4chan user made a post seeking information about a disturbing picture they recently came across. It read, "On one of the recent iceberg chart threads, someone mentioned the Monon tunnels not being on the iceberg. When I went to Google what these tunnels were, the only results I got were the original thread and pic related. Does anyone know more about it? I don't know how to read EXIF data." Coupled with the post was an image that looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime scene. It depicts two masked figures standing in a grass field at night, their index fingers raised towards the sky. Behind them is what looks like the remains of a young child in a red jacket, lying face down on the grass. Unfortunately, no one on 4chan had any clue what the OP was talking about either. One user did claim to have seen a similar image back in the 2000s when they first started using 4chan, but they didn't provide any further information. The contents of the image also divided the community in two. Some speculated that this was the trophy photo the two men took after ending a life. They look like hunters posing with a fresh kill, while others weren't so convinced. I feel like this might just be some kind of photo shoot. You know, like a bunch of kids hanging out and they decided why not take some pictures, which led them to taking this picture just for them to show it around on the internet for shock or something. Which begs the question, what is this really? I tried searching for answers myself, however information surrounding this image is surprisingly hard to come by. For starters, the OP mentioned an iceberg chart thread in their post, but never provided the link or even the name of the thread. Looking at the image itself, there's not much we can gather from it either. There are no visible landmarks or even stars in the sky that could help us pinpoint the location where the image was taken. The only clue we have is the name, the Monon Tunnels, referring to the tiny town called Monon, Indiana. But even that's not much help, since the town is littered with hundreds of flat grass patches that could have served as the backdrop for this image. The camera noise makes it near impossible to estimate the year this image was taken based on the image quality as well. And there wasn't any useful information in its embedded data either. I also couldn't find any exact matches on the internet outside the original 4chan through reverse image searching. However, while looking for similar images, I came across something that could potentially clue us into the origin of this unsettling image. You see, there are two distinct possibilities for what it represents. First is that it was taken by a couple of serial killers as trophy photo proof of their horrible crime. But I wasn't able to find any matching incident that happened in Monon or its surrounding area. Even if the killers were never caught, there would still probably be a report where the victim's description aligns with the person we see in the image. Which leads us into the second, more likely possibility. This was simply a group of friends, and the person lying in the background is actually an adult who likely passed out after a night of drinking. Now, there's no way to know if the disturbing feel of the image was intentional or not, but the possibility of this being a completely harmless picture is fairly high. Reverse image searching it brings up hundreds of similar photos, with people having fun and lying down on a patch of grass at night. That being said, this is nothing more than conjecture on my part, and the reality could be anything. Then there's also the question of how the OP got their hands on this image if it's nowhere else to be found on the internet. Sadly, it's been over 7 years since the original thread, meaning it's unlikely we'll ever uncover the truth. Spoon and duct tape experiment. On the 9th of April 2010, an anonymous 4chan user posted a fun science experiment for others to try. The instructions were as follows. Go to your kitchen and find a nice metal spoon. Teaspoons work too, but normal ones are better. Get yourself a lighter. The bigger the flame, the better. Get some duct tape and wrap it around the handle, about 4 to 6 layers. Start heating up the spoon with the lighter. Make it really, really hot. Holding it just above the flame for about 2 minutes should work. Go to a faucet and turn on cold water at full force. Hold the spoon directly under the faucet. Post results. At first glance, this experiment looked like it had something to do with steam. Maybe pressing the hot spoon under the faucet would instantly vaporize the water, filling the room with a sudden burst of steam or fog, something along those lines. When, in reality, the results were much worse. Whoever thought of this wicked experiment did so with the intention of hurting people, and unfortunately their plan worked better than they could have expected. Within the first hour of the thread going live, nearly a dozen people had injured themselves attempting to follow the instructions. I thought, hey, what could go wrong, and I tried it. At first, it steamed in my face like crazy, and then the spoon started ticking and split into 3 parts, one shooting through a plate, one through a cut, and the last barely missed me. I don't believe this, so I thought I would try this, expecting something cool would happen, like a lot of smoke, but instead I got a shrapnel spoon. It nearly exploded in my hand and shards went off in all directions, causing me to take cover. This nearly cost me my life. I'm not coming here again. OP, why? I covered my face expecting steam. My hands are bleeding so much it hurts. No one do this. Extreme cooling causes metals to burst. Now, 4chan is no stranger to causing widespread harm with these cool experiments, like the one I covered in my previous 4chan video. However, this one stood out for just how dangerously destructive it was. It used extremely common household items like duct tape and a spoon. And because it didn't involve any chemicals, people were far less cautious about just how dangerous it could be. According to one explanation, heating the spoon causes the inner layers of the tape to become extremely hot, almost to the point of melting, while the outer layers remain cool enough to still touch. Then, as the hot spoon comes under cold water, it quickly cools down. But since the inner tape around the handle is still scorching hot, it causes extreme temperature and pressure differences within the spoon, causing it to explode, sending shrapnel everywhere. And while the damage on 4chan was already immense, that was only the beginning. From there, this experiment spread like wildfire to other popular forum sites like Newgrounds, claiming even more victims in the process. The only silver lining here is that the spoon and duct tape experiment copy pasta has since faded into obscurity. So, at the very least, it hopefully won't be causing any more injuries. Epileptic attack. Back in 2008, some 4chan users got together and came up with one of the most cruel pranks in the site's history. Now, unfortunately, most of that thread has been lost to time. The only surviving proof I could find was this screenshot detailing what to do, stating, Epileptic forum raid. 1. Make account. 2. Spam flashing gifs, party hard, etc. 3. Troll the user base. 4. Question marks. 5. Profit. Their target was the Epilepsy Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to supporting individuals with epilepsy and helping them find the care they need. After agreeing on a plan, the group of anonymous users headed over to the Foundation's website and exploited a security vulnerability to gain unrestricted access to the support forum. From there, they used a script to post hundreds of messages embedded with flashing animated GIFs with hopes of catching visitors off guard and triggering seizures. Tragically, this was just as effective as they expected. Within seconds of the attack, dozens of users began experiencing intense migraines, with some even suffering full-blown seizures. One of the site's visitors, 33-year-old Rianne Foltz, described her painful experience in a later interview, stating, "It was a spike of pain in my head, and the lockup that only happens with really bad ones. I don't think I've had a seizure like that in about a year." She was just one of many victims that were swept up in what can only be described as a truly evil act. All the while, the 4chan attackers were celebrating their victory, laughing at the victims' pain, and calling the attack incredible and amazing. Fortunately, the Epilepsy Foundation's IT department managed to quickly take control of the situation before it escalated into a widespread crisis. And while I couldn't find any solid proof, a few sources suggest that the attack may have triggered an FBI investigation. Unfortunately, because of 4chan's anonymity, the people responsible for this horrible attack were never identified or held accountable.
These are the dogs that would take the leash off and walk you. Because a lot of y'all have gotten way too confident. I've said it before, but one way to see how a guy's mind works is to ask him, what's the biggest animal you could beat in a fight? And if you want to see how highly he thinks of himself, ask him, what's the biggest dog he could take down? Or if there's even one alive that he couldn't. TikTok has taught me a majority of y'all are KOing anything canine. Allegedly. Now, in their defense, there's over 350 breeds of dogs and the average man is bodying most of them. Dogs are built for friendship, some quite literally, and they're descended from a pack hunter who really isn't about the one-on-ones. Plus, dogs have one real way of delivering damage, and unless they have the size to make up for it, most dogs can't go band for band with the average man. The thing about size. Some canines are big enough to take you off the registry. Once dogs hit that 140 to 150 pound range, they go from a loud inconvenience to something whose free will could potentially put you in a dirt motel. Bigger than that, and you got the kind of dog where every breath you take is by his blessing. Real quick, this isn't to demonize any breed or inspire you to test your luck against your dog. And also, don't take this too seriously. I know Fantasy Fight Club loves hills to die on. But first we got the The Kangal Shepherd is a Turkish Fido flex bred as a livestock guardian dog against jackals, wolves, and bears. Males on average get from 110 to 150 pounds, but ask around. Someone will tell you about their 180-pound attitude adjustment. An important distinction is that these aren't herding dogs, they're guarding dogs. The canine insurance policy pretty much are part of the herd, and any predators that flock around very quickly find out. Kangals will defend theirs in any situation, and while the cellmate of Cerberus prefers intimidation, they'll catch a clean body if it gets there. The catch is, since Kangals are built to defend the defenseless, they're unironically really good with children. But with a temper more trigger-happy than the state of Texas, nothing steps to a member of a Kangal's herd without getting read in an obituary. Apparently, some Kangals have snapped at their owners for getting too close to their own sheep. With Kangals having the strongest bite of any dog at an alleged 743 pounds per square inch, a snap from a helicoptering horsehound hits much different. They're so protective, they even protect some of the predators they were hired against. In Namibia, ranchers and cheetahs share an area code, and in a world where a dead cow can set your entire family back, many cheetahs become chalk outlines in the name of asset protection. But having Kangals and Anatolians on site, which as far as I understand are Americanized Kangals, the cheetahs get run off by canine conflict resolution before the ranchers have to reach for a permanent solution. The Kangal option actually reduced cheetah trappings and killings by 80%, and in some places they're providing the same deterrent service to wolves. So all in all, they're still a good dog, just not for everyone. And not just because they need space, experience, and most importantly a purpose, they need discipline, because gentle parenting means Turkish Tank rips your arm out of the socket the first time he sees a squirrel. This fluffy boulder would send you back to the mountains they spawned from. Forged in the mountains of Caucasus, the Caucasian Shepherd is also called the Russian Bear Dog, even though they're not Russian, and you're liable for a lecture if you call them that in front of the wrong person. They also weren't bred to hunt bears, they're also livestock life insurance. It's just that calorie blocking a bear might just come with a job description. The blow-dry Tasmanian Devil comes in two forms, the longer coated mountain type and the shorter coated steppe version. The mountain brand are the big boys, and usually the ones that can get to over 200 pounds. And I promise you, you are not choking out a Wolverine on creatine with war experience. The dog, also called the ovcharka, was used in World War II as Soviet Union guards that would gatekeep Soviet gulags. So they might not send you there, but they'll keep you in its custody. So even though they didn't originate in Russia, before the Soviet Union developed an atomic bomb, they mobilized a furry nuke in the form of Fido. Also, a good amount would patrol the Berlin Wall, and after the wall came down and the dogs were adopted out, many of the veterans would suddenly remember their orders whenever near the past tense wall and would robotically walk in obedience to a wall that wasn't there. So yeah, folks messed around and created an absolute unit of a sleeper agent, and it isn't until you have about 200 pounds of dog resisting your will that you realize what the mountains of Caucasus were cooking. There's a reason this domesticated bear is used in Russian prisons. Imagine packs of ovcharkas roaming the city of Berlin at the expense of anyone unlucky enough to run into them. Well, you don't need imagination. For one of the dogs next, it's a reality. This is honestly the first place my mind went after hearing about the man versus dog debate. You tell him to sit, he looks at you like this. What is your next move? Daikujo decides to climb on your couch where he knows he's not allowed. What is your vehicle of retribution? I pray it's not a rolled up newspaper. He gonna make you a small section of the next one. Latin is like a linguistic black light that tells the full story of a word, and when you shine it on cane corso, canis is dog, and corso or cohors refers to guard, specifically a military guard dog. Corsos, or actually corsi, are kind of the guard dog, and they're descended from ancient Roman war dogs known as Canis pugnax. For Corsi, the Italian mastiff would attack enemy lines in battle with buckets of flaming, scalding hot oil strapped to their backs. Fun fact, in my culture, cani is the name of a spice you put on dishes, and to me it's all good, but to someone who's never had it before or doesn't know how to handle it, it can be an overseasoned assault on the senses. Same story with the uber black of dogs. Handle them wrong and they're a one-way trip straight to Valhalla. And with many over 120 pounds, I do believe every conscious breath you take is with their consent. Again, they're guard dogs that protect their pack, and within it, they're docile family dogs that you can trust with the kids. But the same dog that can tear a wild boar in half like a phone book would absolutely turn you into coffin fodder in a fight. This might be the most underrated dog out here. First time I saw one, I genuinely thought it was a customized cane. And while they look similar, at up to and often over 140 pounds, the Bressa Canario somehow tankier than the canine Italian stallion. Don't get it twisted, the Spanish Mastiff off the Canary Islands is 404ing most men. They just might have been brought over by Spanish conquistadors, and they were admired for their intelligence, toughness, and like a fitted sheet they won't fold. But they were also bred specifically to exterminate wild or stray dogs. And that's something I'm gonna touch on later, because LGDs like ovcharkas, they're not meant to murk predators. just discourage them. They bred the Presa Canario to erase other dogs. That's basically a canine assassin. The hired gun was also a reoccurring character in dogfighting rings, even after it was criminalized. Because of this, the pride of the Canary Islands almost went extinct in the 60s. Luckily, a breed society, Club Español de Presa Canario, was formed, and they came up with a breed standard. The standard was approved in '89, and the Presa Canario was recognized as the official dog of the Canary Islands. The goal was to help the Presa make a comeback, and today they're still going strong. They have a lifespan that can last over a decade, despite all the nerfs that come with being a big dog. Which means we're talking about the dog that has fought its own kind, its own biology, and literal extinction. Not the type I want to start problems with. Now let the record show that the muscle of Canary is the equivalent of a canine wet wipe around family, but any burglars getting blacklisted from the census. Once upon a time, a zoo in China caught heat for trying to pass off a dog as an African lion. Oh, it didn't last long and they were for sure wrong, but when you squint at a Tibetan Mastiff, you see the inspiration. This woolly mammoth is one of the oldest dog breeds alive, and they were used to protect Buddhist monasteries and Tibetan monks from apex threats like wolves, bears, and snow leopards. Traditionally, the hound of the Himalayas would sleep all day and patrol the villages at night, so if you take in a Tibetan Mastiff, you may find their habits nocturnal. They're built different. I'm talking genetically sequenced abnormally. Back in the day, Tibetan Mastiffs were bred with Tibetan wolves because the dogs have a special protein that helps red blood cells carry oxygen 50% more efficiently. This mutation does not appear in other dogs, but you do see it in the Tibetan subspecies of gray wolf, which is why the sentient hair salon pile can survive such a high altitude. It's not hard to see how a full-grown literal Clifford can send wolves running. And that's what I wanted to mention. These are guardian dogs, not attack dogs. They don't want you dead, necessarily. Just gone. They're not out here looking for smoke, and if you have one, you'll find that the most dangerous thing about them is the constant slaughtering can be a slip hazard. But there's a catch. The Tibetan Mastiff wasn't just insurance, they were a status symbol, especially in China. One named Big Splash sold for $1.5 million, so they can ruin you physically and financially. The problem is, like all fads, the TM hype faded fast, and the outcome was more abandoned Mastiffs than anyone knew what to do with. Except the dogs. The Tibetan persuasion started forming feral packs where they've killed livestock, hunted native Baral sheep, and even attacked ancient enemies like snow leopards, bears, and now even humans. Now we've got thousands of feral Uber dogs roaming the Tibetan plateau, making life air-conditioned hell for snow leopards and putting paws and jaws in any people that happen to cross their paths. It's basically what happened to pigeons in America, but I've never seen a pigeon lil bro a wolf. I don't know what's with all the videos of Tibetan Mastiffs and wolves in the same place, but I have not seen one where the dog doesn't completely bully the albeit smaller Asian wolves. And speaking of wolves, at least the wild ones are afraid of humans. We genetically engineered a weapon of mass destruction. And it's completely our fault. Mastiffs in general are a canine flex. They'll have you mad stiff. As in rigor mortis, the Bull Mastiff looks like a sweetheart that could genuinely bench press your family. The Neapolitan Mastiff was literally built on honey badger principles. Loose skin so that even when clamped, the Neapolitan Mastiff was literally built on honey badger principles. Loose skin press your family. The Neapolitan Mastiff was literally built on honey badger principles. Loose skin so that even when clamped, they can always turn around and face their problems. But it also makes them look like a victimized pizza pie, cheese sliding right off. But we can't forget the English Mastiff, one of the few dogs that could successfully maul a wolf. For reference, the beast from Sandlot was an English Mastiff, and the record for the heaviest dog is held by Ika Mazorba, an English Stiffy weighing 343 pounds. And of course, we can't forget my favorite Mastiff, and honestly dog, the Rottweiler. This Rizzohund is an easy attitude adjustment for any man that thinks he can whoop any dog. But one dog you would absolutely get worked by is... The Boer Bull is a massive 200-pound vibe check of a pet. They were bred as a South African farm dog to protect the home against threats like leopards and even baboons. Ironically, it's the baboons I'm impressed by. You see, there's a lot of stories about this farmer dog, aura, as the kids say. There's one story of a Boer Bull life-depriving 4 leopards in a row before losing to a 5th. Another story goes like this. The king of Albania gifted Alexander the Great a massive Boer Bull, but when Alex tried to get their dog to hunt, the dog seemingly refused, so Mr. Macedon did the sensible thing and murked the dog for insolence. Until the king said the dog wasn't lazy, just bored, and that these dogs were meant to hunt big game. Like elephant big. So apparently they sent a replacement, and this Boer Bull won Alexander over after breaking a lion's back and forcing an elephant off a cliff. Do I believe it? Absolutely not, but it helps my narrative if I pretend I do. What is true is the same Boer Bull that squares up with big cats and baboons also has the personality of a weighted blanket, unless you threaten their family, in which case they'll put you in an ashtray. They're basically a guard dog that got promoted and invited out to hunts, which is actually the opposite of. The Rhodesian Ridgeback might seem like a token pick, but hear me out. They're the inverse of boar bulls. They were so good at hunting, they eventually got promoted to guards. With a max weight of like 120 pounds, the Ridgeback is the lightest dog in this video. They get the nod because they were used to hunt lions, along with the usual suspects like wild pigs and baboons. Now I should probably explain, when I say hunt lions, I don't mean these dogs are out here giving Simba the belt to butt. There isn't a dog alive that can beat a lion. No dog exists that can 1v1 a bear, and pretty much all would get folded by a full-grown all-American Northwestern wolf. By hunting, really the Rhodesian Ridgebacks would bay the lions, not straight up attack them, but harass them, applying constant pressure until eventually the hunters showed up. The best way I can explain it is these wolves mobbing a black bear and basically escorting him away from their pups hidden in the grass. Rhodesians more so keep the lion in one place, which is arguably just as impressive. It takes a lot of intelligence to pin a predator 5 times your size, and yeah, Ridgebacks are creepily smart. Ask around, some will even say they're human. And that's a level of intelligence I'm not trying to deal with. One thing I do love is a dog that went against literal lions is also mad sensitive. They do not respond well to harshness, and you unironically have to watch how you talk to them because they will take it personally. They're basically gifted teenagers. They're not for the discipline, so you better keep it positive. You know, I almost forgot to mention the Dogo Argentino. A mistake that would have been. Basically, a teenager in the 1920s unlocked free will and decided to create the best possible hunter dog. He took traits like the scent tracking of a pointer, the height of a Great Dane, the Pyrenean Mastiff's calm temperament, and the boxer's overall athleticism, and crossbred them with the now extinct Cordoba fighting dog. Eventually, he created an Argentinian Mastiff, and to prove its strength, he pitted his dog against a wild boar and a mountain lion, gladiator style. Only the dog made it out. And I wouldn't even believe that if it wasn't for the story of Morocho, the Dogo Argentino, allegedly killing a puma to save his 2 human girls. Allegedly, because I'm not entirely sure it's true. I still can't see one soloing a healthy mountain lion, but the narrative has been set. So W Morocho. They might not be the biggest, but it's an explosive cannonball of a canine athlete that could overwhelm a grown man on the right day. They're tough enough to endure hours of trekking through rough terrain and still have enough juice to wrestle an animal 3 times its size. But if I ever saw this in an alley, my soul would auto-connect to the Wi-Fi in the sky. Now that's real Bluetooth. By now, you probably recognize the pattern. If a dog was bred as a livestock guardian in the mountains, it's likely the last dog you ever want issues with. And that is everything the Central Asian Shepherd dog is. The CAS, or Alibi, is another LGD spawning from Central Asia, and one of the few dogs that could honestly be confused with a polar bear. And while most of the dogs here are a matter of speculation and my personal bias, with the symbol of canine country strength often weighing over 200 pounds, a full-grown specimen motivated by malicious intent would dismantle an able-bodied man. And as one of the oldest dogs, humans didn't really do that much to breed them. They were honestly bred more by the harsh environment than anything. Just an overall unit of everything a dog can be, and likely the biggest dog most people have never heard of. Again, this isn't to demonize any breed in particular. I just figured the man versus dog thing gave me an excuse to talk about him, and I don't think I ever did make a dog video, so, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone and stuff. And if you're a man who thinks they can solo everything on this list, you got it. Don't take it too serious, although I haven't made an animal versus animal video in a minute. Now there's an idea. Reminder that I have a book rating animals by how likely they are to murk you, and dogs are on there. Their rating might just surprise you, but that's gonna do it. Drink water, hug your mother, always research the breed before you end up with a bear in your backseat. Acknowledge my shirt, please, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Surprise, Gray! What the fuck are you doing? How did you get up there?
Alright now. That was it. I'm about to head out. Thank you all for stopping by.